Hi Deirdre, this is Rebecca with your Assignment 1 Travel Poster Critique. Great job following instructions and sticking to 7 colors out of the color palette. I understand that the color palette is limiting and it's actually a little bit different than what your original image offered. I found this image that you had chosen, and I see that there isn't really any browns in it or yellows, and so I do see where found hit some limitations. Something that there is though is there's white. White is one of the options, and your image has a lot of snow on these mountains. Let me just look and see. Yeah, I'm not really seeing any images of this of these mountains around Lake Moraine that don't have snow on them. So adding white to create these ridges would have really, it would have taken away one of these other colors, unfortunately, but I don't think you need any red in here. So I think it would have been a good option to use instead of red, and it would have added a lot more depth to these mountains, as well as adding more of those ridges and the snow like coming down into these pockets and things. So it doesn't feel like there's a lot of depth here, and I think that adding the snow would really create a lot of nice depth for you. You might even be able to use this color here to create some of the reflection, as well as even adding some white in the lake too, because the reflection is really one of the best parts of the image. So the trees themselves, like this tree line over here, a lot of these lines feel very gestural. They don't feel true to the forms of the landscape, which is fine. I think that that's totally okay. But I do think that adding some more detail would make it more recognizable. If you look at this, you can't really tell what this shape is like. So adding more detail in the tree, in the shadows under the tree branches and things like that, shadows between trees, would really help to bring that out. And you can add that by just adding this color, this green here. It doesn't need to be blacks or another color. So just consider that, for future Illustrator stuff. The reason why we had a limited palette is because a lot of times when you get a client, you have to use the color palette that they provide, and it is a lot of times limited. Sometimes they have a printing project where it costs less if they use, 2 colors, and you have to make an entire design based on just 2 colors. So that's one of the reasons that we did this, just to add that another challenge to it on top of, learning how to use your pen tool. So I do see that you've gotten better with your pen tool on this assignment, and I'm happy to see that. I really like how you laid out the word Canada and have it overlapping the image. I think that looks great. Something that you can eliminate, though, is the use of strokes. This stuff doesn't need these red strokes all through here, and even the word Canada doesn't need a red stroke. If you did want to add some depth to the word Canada, you could duplicate the word, change the second one to a different color, and then lay it behind this word and kind of nudge it down and to the left or right a couple notches, and then it'll create like a drop shadow effect. So that's just something you can do there, but just try to not depend on the stroke option to separate shapes and objects from each other. Other than that, I'm happy to see your progress and keep up the good work.